It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's time for Ignition with the AEW Fan Hub podcast team. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. We have the AEW World's End Fallout, and we've got AEW Holiday Smash, or New Year's Smash, coming tomorrow night on AEW Dynamite. This is Kelson.
And this is Jess. I am just breaking in here to let you all know that if you are a Ring of Honor fan, Ring of Honor is ringing in the new year with a live stream on YouTube. They will be playing all of their main events from 2025, plus other matches from their other events and pay-per-views. So that might be something if you're interested in checking out Ring of Honor, check that out. Yes, speaking of pay-per-views, World's End last weekend, great show. I've been saying that the show was booked for me, and one of the reasons it was booked for me is my personal favorite, Jon Moxley. He won the Continental Classic. It was awesome. What do you guys think?
Ah, man, I'm not. Moxley is someone I don't think any of us predicted. I'm very surprised. I don't I don't mind it at all. I'm not upset about it. I just don't know if he needed it. I feel like this was the time to elevate Kyle Fletcher, but that's me. He was my pick from the beginning, so I'm a little biased on that. Good match with Okada. Um, the pay-per-view as a whole, I thought it was good, which is a little weird to say about an AEW pay-per-view. It's not
Yeah,
bad. It was good.
it was good. I mean, AEW pay-per-views don't miss, but when it comes to ranking, I put up a post, Chris and Jess, up on the AEW Fan Hub subreddit and other places as well. And out of the 9 pay-per-views, pretty much everybody except for one or two people put World's End in the bottom third, like the bottom 3 pay-per-views. That's not to say that these people were saying it was a bad pay-per-view. It just wasn't, you know,
It it's the
as
difference between getting a, you know, 22-ounce porterhouse cooked perfectly, with all the sides and trimmings, and getting a getting a perfectly cooked sirloin with basic sides. Like,
yeah, yeah.
nothing was
I
bad
agree
about the
with.
pay-per-view. It was just we've had so
I
many pay-per-views with these memorable moments and matches, and it feels like this one just kind of had really good matches, really good moments, but nothing that, really stood out as just being,
yeah.
holy
There's
crap,
nothing
balls amazing.
like the best way I can explain it to you guys is like when Hangman Adam Page defeated John Moxley at All In. You remember that John Moxley lost to Adam Page at All In. 6 months later. 6 months from now, I'm not going to remember a single match from World's
Yep.
End. I personally, that's just me. Now, Jess, I know that I've seen you post that you thought that this pay per view was booked just for you.
Yep, it had everything I liked. I mean, like, the only way it could have been better if somehow Kenny Omega could have been on the show, and if Kota Ibushi magically healed and he was on there too, and maybe if Swerve and Hangman Page kissed a little.
Oh, God.
Kidding, kidding,
Okay.
kidding,
Oh, my God. We're not going there, are we?
kidding. Or am I?
Between
I'm
those,
kidding. um, but no, it was other than the absence of Kenny Omega, it was literally everything I like. So it's amazing how subjectivity works, isn't it?
Yeah, but like I said, there's subjectivity, but it's not negativity. You know what I mean? It's not like Chris and I said that it was a bad pay per view.
no, no, not at all. It, we're spoiled with AEW pay-per-views, honestly. We have had so many great pay-per-views, matches, amazing, memorable, crazy stuff that it seems like a good pay-per-view is slightly disappointing. Like, not that I, I enjoyed it. I didn't feel like I wasted my money. had fun with the show. Just of the what 10 pay-per-views this year, I want to say. Maybe it's
There
more,
were
maybe
9
it's
pay-per-views.
9. Okay, I knew it was somewhere close to that. Of
Yeah,
the 9 pay-per-views, I would say this was probably my seventh or eighth favorite.
I need to break in here, and I apologize for making this. Jess, you've got a new headphone. I understand that. Either your microphone is in your mouth or whatever, because I can hear every breath that you're taking.
sorry, I'll mute.
Well, move the microphone away from your mouth. I did the same thing with this microphone, and people were
That's
telling
the
me,
thing though, like this is a Razer headset, so there's no like adjustable mic. It's built into the ear, so I can't really
uh,
move it.
okay, well, not a big deal.
There, I
Yeah,
moved it. I
so,
moved it back. Is that a little better?
so you got, yeah, so with, with the, you just have to mute, I guess. Um, with the, Continental Classic, I mean, we had Kyle Fletcher against Moxley. We had Okada against Takeshita. I did like the storytelling with the screwdriver. Um, but what did you think of the qualifying matches? Well, not the qualifying, the semifinal matches.
Excellent. Can I talk about the screwdriver for a second?
Sure.
Um, I brought this up on the Discord. Um, the Discord is great, by the way. If you haven't joined, join. We're great people. But I mentioned the wild dichotomy of like the top people in the Callis family right now, and as it pertains to this screwdriver, because at first in the first match I thought Callis hid the screwdriver, but it turns out it was Kyle. Kyle hid the screwdriver for himself to use. Okada found out about it somehow. He used it. So now there's the top 3 people in the Callis family are all mad at each other. Like Takeshita's mad at Okada and maybe mad at Kyle for bringing the screwdriver in the first place. And Kyle's probably mad at Okada for stealing his screwdriver. And I can't wait to see how this plays out.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? What did you think about the semifinal matches?
I enjoyed both matches. I probably enjoyed Okada Takeshita a little more because they went kind of a classic New Japan style almost, kind of the slow build and then it really ramped up and then crazy finishers and counters. And the screwdriver thing is interesting because I mean, it gives Takeshita, like, okay, Okada couldn't actually beat me. He had to use a freaking screwdriver. Like, what a little bitch. Um, And then I thought the Fletcher Moxley match was great. Those two went all out, and again, the screwdriver comes into play. And like just said, that'll be really interesting, to see how that all kind of plays out. And Okada and Takeshita probably aren't even on the show tomorrow night because of Wrestle Kingdom, but if they are, that'll be very interesting to see, like does Kyle blame Okada like you screwed me over? Is Takeshita mad because Kyle put the screwdriver out there in the first place? So, um, good matches, good story to come out of both of them. Looking forward to see what happens with the whole screwdriver gate.
You know, one thing that I've got to say this is that I thought it was a mistake for Tony Khan to put Takeshita and Okada up first. And the reason why is because, as you said, Chris, it was a New Japan style match. It was a slow burn. And I don't really think that Takeshita and Okada really expressed their distrust and or hatred to each other very well in this match. I think it was, for the most part, just a regular match until the end. I didn't get the turmoil that's going in Don Callis family through it was not the best in-ring storytelling match as far as continuing that story. for me. And I thought it started out really slow. And to be honest with you, I lost interest in the match probably until about halfway through the match because the match just started out so slow. I don't think that that match was the right match to go with. But then again, you kind of had to do that because it played into the screwdriver thing, and the screwdriver thing would not have worked unless, that match went first. So, but I did think that that was not the right match to go with first. Plus, I think it was the match in the semifinals that people were really looking forward to the most. I don't know. It was just something about that match that was just a little off from the beginning. And maybe it was because it was a New Japan style match and not an American style match. But it just didn't work for me, brother.
See, and that's exactly why it did work for me because I mean, I love that New Japan style, that kind of slow build and, feeling each other out. I think the end is what really launches the hatred between them. Like
Sure, oh sure.
up to now it's been antagonistic and a little like whatever you can do, I can do better. But there hasn't been that moment where like, okay, I hate you. I want to beat the ever loving crap out of you the next time I see your stupid face. But now with Okada using the screwdriver, stealing, and then he didn't even win. Like if you're Takeshita, you got to be really pissed. Like, okay, you screwed me over. You hit me in the head with the screwdriver, and then you didn't even win. You suck.
Yeah, I mean, it was just weird because is it just me or did John Moxley become a babyface organically?
Yes, and Bryan Danielson, um,
Well, which
American
one is it, Jess? Come on.
Bryan Danielson actually put it very well. Like there is no interference allowed in the Continental Classic. Cheating apparently is fine, but uh, no interference allowed. And since interference is the Death Rider's whole shtick, basically this tournament has let Mox be Mox again, basically, and the crowd has warmed up and come around to him.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say this. Look, I run the AEW Fan Hub, Instagram, Blue Sky, X account, Threads. I'm a moderator on the Discord. I'm a moderator on the subreddit as well. And when it came to the post um, Continental Classic or World's End discussion on all those platforms, more people were talking about Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm dancing than they were about the Continental Classic matches. I've said it before and I'll say it again. And I said this last week. I believe that the C2 tournament should have started at least one, probably 2 weeks earlier because we didn't know who the participants were in the C2 semifinals until Christmas night. And that was a night where AEW, no, no, it was AEW Collision, it was Christmas Collision, was on a different night at a different time on a holiday where a lot of people didn't really watch professional wrestling or much of anything else that night. You know what I'm saying? I think that having the semifinal set literally 2 days before the actual pay per view kind of hurt the pay per view a little bit and the hype around it. I wish they would have ended it at least a week earlier so that you could have vignettes or in ring promos just to raise the angst, raise the interest, I guess is the best way to put it. Also, I mean, think about it. They couldn't go out like if John Moxley was out there on in Chicago doing a press tour, to hype up World's End on Tuesday night, he couldn't say anything about his participation in the semifinals because that had not been determined yet, at least not on a national TV level. You understand what I'm saying there? I mean, it hurt. It hurt not only the the booking for the show, but it also hurt the hype leading up to the show in different ways.
Yeah, I understand. Like, I was actually really interested in what was going on that Christmas show, and I would have watched it, but it was Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I set it to record. I didn't start it until probably an hour and a half in because I was still over at my brother's because he demanded that I watch Daddy's Home too because he swore it was a Christmas movie, and sadly, bastard's right. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even start it until late. A week earlier would have been perfect. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look. I mean, it's Christmas. People with families are probably getting, with their kids, probably getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning because they were excited about opening their presents from Santa. I know I did it when I was a kid. The parents are probably exhausted. I think a lot of people were probably in bed by 9 p.m. Eastern time when Christmas Collision started. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't think it was earth-shatteringly bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I would have probably done it some way, a different way. But let's move on because guess what else happened at World's End? We have a new AEW Men's World Champion,
My
Max.
scumbag.
My scumbag. He's our scumbag. He is everybody's scumbag.
he's the world's scumbag.
Yeah. Now he's going to be appearing tomorrow night on Dynamite. I just want to hear what you guys think is going to happen on Dynamite tomorrow night. And, of course, also, what do you think about MJF winning the World Championship at World's End?
I know exactly what's going to happen. Gloating of epic proportions. Um, I
No.
love I love it. I as soon as he came back, I was rooting for him. He is indeed my scumbag, and I wanted him to win, and he did. Like I said, this show was booked for me, so I was quite happy to see him win.
Oh yeah, I mean, gloating is definitely gonna happen. I will bet anyone $27 million that we are reminded his name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and he is better than us.
And we know it.
Damn right we do. You know, I his return promo was great. You know, and the fact he did a squash match before, like where he was the guy who would never wrestle, and now he's the guy who says he's gonna wrestle, but still spends 85% of the match on the outside, just waiting for his spot. And he took it brilliantly. The way he won the title was brilliant. Him beating Joe at the pay-per-view where Joe beat him. I mean, that's a full circle moment. I'm excited to see the title run. I wasn't particularly happy that Hangman lost so soon after winning the title, but I see why they did it. I see why they put it on Joe. You have this moment. Hangman's going to be over as a babyface no matter what he does, just because we've been on this whole crazy journey with him for years. And him being, I mean, him and Swerve can both say, hey, we weren't pinned. We won our shot. And MJF, being the scumbag he is, will probably be like, fight for it. And then we can get more out of that, the greatest rivalry in AEW history, while MJF, feuds with someone else, and then we get Hangman, then we get Swerve. There's so many matches for him to potentially have. I'm looking forward to the run overall.
You know what makes it even more full? You only just one little note here. You know what makes it even more full circle-y? Do you know who else was back, kind of, at World's End? Adam Cole, baby!
Yeah. I I actually missed it up a little bit when I saw him on the screen. I'm not going to lie. I did. I mean, I really like Adam Cole. He's a great talker. Uh, unfortunately, because of the injuries, we haven't seen the extent of what he can do in the ring. But I do think that and I do hope that AEW has plans for Adam Cole in 2026 if he's able to travel. If he's able to travel, then I think we'll see a lot more of him. If not, we may see a lot more of him like we did at World's End remotely.
True. Priority number one for me is Adam Cole's health.
Absolutely.
Priority number two for me is the Brochacho reunion.
By the way, I don't know if you caught this, but I think that MJF did a tribute to Adam Cole during World's End because he was looking mighty yellow.
Well, he also hit the Panama Sunrise.
Yeah, he did, but I'm just saying he looked like yellow bastard. He sure did. But look, when it comes to what I expect for tomorrow night, I put far too much thought into this. Here's what I want to see tomorrow night. I want to hear MGS music hit. I want to see him come out carrying a Burberry briefcase. I want to see it. I want to see it. See him carrying a Burberry. He has the belt strap on his shoulder, but he's carrying a Burberry briefcase. He gets in the ring because when he won the championship at World's End, he was like this. He basically said this stuff is coming off right away. Pointing to the straps and whatnot. So I think in the briefcase, which is kind of a tongue-in-cheek throwback to the Death Riders and Jon Moxley's run with the AW Men's World Championship. He brings the briefcase to the ring, the Burberry briefcase to the ring. He throws the AEW Men's World title into the trash like he did the last time. Opens up the Burberry briefcase, and there you have the Triple B. He's got to bring out the Triple B tomorrow night. I just think the briefcase would be an MJF-ish touch.
The Triple B in the Triple B, the big Burberry belt and the big Burberry briefcase.
It's a big, that would make it a quad B, wouldn't it? No,
So,
the
no way.
Triple B in a briefcase is a quad B. So there you go.
No, but it'd be BBB, BBB.
Okay, we
That'd
don't
be
need
six.
to. Yeah, okay,
Six Triple B.
we're getting a little weird here. But anyway, I do want to give a shout out to the greatest transitional champion in AEW history, Samoa Joe. You can't deny that he's been a transitional champion every time that he's had the belt.
Yeah, but he's done so great at it.
He is. He's good at it. I don't know.
I'd also like to thank Samoa Joe for the beautiful tribute to early era Dark Order with his squad of nameless creepers.
Yeah. God.
That is good.
Oh boy. But anyway, let's move on because we've got a lot to talk about. I want to talk, if you look at the graphic on the screen, that is Tekla's graphic. I want to talk about the women's division because as we sit right now, we've got the AEW Women's World Championship, we've got the AEW TBS Championship, and we've got the Women's Tag Team World Championship. What we don't have is really any clear and obvious challengers. Maybe you could say Athena for Mercedes Moné, but there's absolutely no one that I can think of that is a clear and obvious contender for Chris Statlander's title, and there's nobody that I can think of that is a contender for the Women's World Tag Team titles. The reason I put Tekla's graphic up is because she's one of those that could be in line to challenge for all three. I really think she's a viable contender for all three, but what I'm interested in knowing is who do you guys think are viable contenders for each of these championships? Don't forget, keep in mind also that the next pay-per-view for AEW isn't until March at Revolution. Yes, we have, but also keep in the back of your head that we have AEW Grand Slam Sydney on, I want to say February 14th or 15th. I can't remember which. I think it's February 14th. So we do have that in about a month and a half.
Oh my
But
gosh, Valentine's Day in Sydney?
yeah, well, so so, but anyway, let's start with the Women's World Championship. Who do you think is a viable contender for? Let's just go right to Revolution. Who, right at the top of your mind, who do you think is going to challenge Chris Statlander at Revolution for the AEW Women's World Championship?
Yeah, why not Tekla? There's plenty of time to get a good build for it. She's more than game. It'd be a great match. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I agree.
Yeah, I actually thought Tekla as well. Now, Tekla was going to be, uh, she has like a little bit of a mini feud, I guess, put together with Jamie Hayter. Um, Maybe they have a match to determine which one of them gets the title shot, because the match at World's End was very competitive between Hayter and Statlander. So we shall see there. What about the
That'd be a good
TBS
match
champion?
for. I was going to say that'd be a good match for Grand Slam Sydney.
Yeah, it would be. Now, what about the TBS championship? Look, we've got, this is an interesting case because we've got Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné on AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash tomorrow night. First and foremost, does anybody see Willow Nightingale defeating Mercedes Moné?
No, I
I
want
kind
it to happen.
Yeah,
I'll be
exactly.
rooting for Willow.
But then again, our predictions haven't exactly been stellar lately. Uh,
That's a good
and
point.
and it would play into the slowly burgeoning but long-awaited Monet breakdown. It's happening. I'm loving it.
You know, on one hand, I look at it two ways. One hand, two ways. On two hands, two ways, I guess. One, if anybody has been listening to these podcasts, I am not one that enjoys a wrestler having two AEW belts at once. I did not like Samoa Joe, for example, having the Trios title and the AEW Men's World Championship at the same time. Um, but I knew that he was just going to be a transitional champion with the AEW Men's World Championship. So I wasn't really, what was that? I wasn't really upset about that because I knew it was a transitional championship. But anyway, Willow Nightingale has also been a transitional champion before. Don't forget when Mercedes Moné beat, or when Mercedes Moné won the TBS championship, she defeated Willow Nightingale. Now, the big thing with that is that I personally don't feel that it was ever supposed to be Mercedes Moné winning the championship off of Willow Nightingale. I firmly believe that she was supposed to win it off of Julia Hart, but Julia Hart injured her shoulder, and so she lost the championship to Willow Nightingale. And I think Willow Nightingale only held the belt for like 35 days, if I'm not mistaken, before she lost it to Mercedes Moné. So this is another one of those full circle moments where we have Mercedes Moné facing Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale may win this title and be a transitional champion. That she'll lose it in the next month, like she did the last time. What do you guys think about that?
Possible. You know who I'd kind of like to throw into this mix is Megan Bain. With Penelope out, she's kind of out a partner, and she's too cool to just have just fiddle around until then.
Megan Bain would be a really good pick. I do agree with you there. What about you,
That's
Chris? You have
indeed.
any thoughts?
Um, you know, I was going to kind of agree with you on Willow being a transitional champion could work, but I got to go with Jess, man. Put it on Megan Bayne. Like, let her be the one to beat Mercedes. It's a big moment, and she's strong, she's powerful, she's gotten over with the crowd decently. She's a workhorse based on her schedule in the last couple of months. Um, yeah, put the title on her. I'm 100% on board with that.
Get on the
Yeah,
Bane train.
get on the Bane. I gotta say this. It's a little bit off topic, but a couple days ago, Stardom held their Dream Queendom pay-per-view. Megan Bayne did participate in it. She was in a tag match that went to a time limit draw. But on one of her opponents was Bozilla. And those two, my God, some of the things they did. I mean, of course, they did the bit where they ran the ropes and slammed into each other, and neither of them budged. Bozilla hit Megan Bayne with a couple of tremendous power bombs. But one of the things I was most impressed about, Megan Bayne did a top rope Hurricane Rana on Bozilla
Whoa.
twice. I,
I
I
I
have
saw that
never.
it was freaking awesome.
I was like that. Those two women, I applaud them. I mean, they're not tiny people, put it that way, and I mean that respectfully. I love both of them. But to see if there were two men of commensurate size doing that, we'd be like, wow. Go look up. You can find the highlights of this on X. Just look up Megan Bayne Dream Queendom or something to that effect, and you'll see video highlights of it. It is astounding. The other thing that I found astounding about it, both of them, was the speed in which they moved in the ring. Absolutely fantastic. But I agree with both of you. Megan Bayne would be a great choice in this case. I really do. Let's move on to the women's tag team champions because in this event I don't see any teams. I really can't think of one that hasn't already been there, done that.
I do. As soon as you reminded me that Grand Slam was going to be in Sydney, give the Love Bombs their rematch.
Yeah, but again, that's a been there, done that kind of thing.
Yeah, like
You
there's
know?
no challengers that they really haven't faced already. Like it, the division is really thin right now,
Yeah, I
unfortunately.
mean they did. AEW did make Hyann and Maya World all elite but during Zero Hour, which I am so happy for those two. They do have Lena Cross in the shadows there. Putting Lena Cross with Megan Bayne would be unbelievable. You know that I mean I could see those two forming up, and I believe that they have tagged in the recent past, like since October together. I think they lost, but they have tagged, so they do know each other and do have hopefully some chemistry with each other. Um, there's also like Dakota Kai or Charlie, as she's now known. I don't think she's going by the Evie moniker, but she's another person that they can bring in. Um,
You want to hear a bonkers rumor? Now,
go for it.
I have no substantiation on this. This is all rumor and innuendo. I need to make that clear. But I heard through the intertubes that Bailey may be thinking of jumping. Imagine Bailey and Dakota Kai in the tag team scene.
Well, that's true. The reason I didn't bring Bailey up is simply because Bailey's contract apparently goes through the end of 2026. So if she jumps, it's not going to be anytime soon.
Boo.
And this is
Ah,
something
crap
that,
bastard.
I looked up actually over the weekend. So yeah, Bailey's pretty much wrapped up in WWE unless she gets a release until 2020, the end of 2026,
She'd be a
because
great addition to the roster, though. A
because
great
it
veteran
was
presence.
it was something like June of last year where she did an interview and she said, "I still have a year and a half left on my contract."
Well,
So
maybe 2027 will be good to us.
yeah, so
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
look,
the women's tag division right now is just maybe try to bring in an international team to at least, challenge and you got to start trying to build up more teams and honestly just create more teams because right now there's not even enough. I mean, okay, we've got Babes of Wrath, we've got Sisters of Sin, we've got Timeless Love Bombs. Uh, who else
TJ.
did we? Hi Jay, yeah.
that's if
Who
Anna
else do
Jay
we really have?
resigns.
I think she probably will.
Yeah, I mean, you can even put in there Billy Starks and Athena, or even Billy Starks and Diamante from Ring of Honor. You can put that in there. I don't know. I think that the tournament that they did was somewhat detrimental. I would love to see a tag team or even two tag teams from Stardom come over and challenge. I really would, because, well, first of all, they're fantastic. I mean, Kaguma and Azuki are
That's
very good
exactly who I was
choices.
gonna say. Love Kaguma.
Um,
Kudu baby.
yeah, yeah, and then, and it's never going to happen because they simply don't wrestle outside of Japan that much. I mean, they just recently they wrestled in China for the first time. I think that was their first matches in either of their careers outside of Japan, and that's uh, Soriano and Natsupoi. That's another great team. I mean, you could even go Miyu Amasaki and Azumi. Um, there's just so many teams out there. Starlight Kid and Azumi, which is those are two women that I know because Tony Khan spoke of them in an interview that he thinks highly of. So when you're looking at the women's tag team division, not saying that they should win, but there are people in Stardom that could come in and work these matches and fill in some gaps. I
You
guess is the
know,
best way of putting it.
I've never seen her, and I've always Starlight Kid, and I've always meant to. She has like a very your favorite wrestler vibe. So I definitely need to like check out more Joshi.
Well, the thing about Starlight Kid, there's two things that stand out about Starlight Kid. One is that she's custom built to be popular with children, and she is. She's got this superhero vibe to her. The other thing about Starlight Kid is she's tiny. There's just no other way around it. She makes Riho look like a giant. But that doesn't mean anything because, like, what's her name? Saya from Stardom is 4'9", and she's built like she's built like Olympia. Are you familiar with Olympia from CMLL?
Yeah, I've seen her.
Yeah, she's just, if you look at Olympia, she's not the biggest woman as far as height goes, but she is a boulder. I mean, she's just one big set of muscles, and
Yeah,
that's the same
she's
way
a
with Saida.
I say like she's a brick outhouse.
Brick outhouse, yeah, that's a good way to put
Yeah,
it. Um,
I mean, Saya Ito was the only woman in the NJPW Concorso, which is like their kind of like a bodybuilding, their best body competition thing. She was the only woman in it.
yeah, I mean, and she, my God, I mean, I ran across pictures of Saya. Uh, she was just workout pictures, like she was bodybuilding, and they had pictures of her flexing, and I was like, I would want to run to her in a dark alley. She'd kill me. All 4'9" of her. She's just and same thing with Olympia. Again, not the tallest women in the world, but just impressive physical specimens. You don't have to be tall It'd be impressive. Look, I've said this
Look at
about
Taz.
Riho. I've,
Like,
I've said this about Riho. Riho is 5'1", which there are women that are smaller than she is as far as height. Her her ring attire kind of belies the fact that she's a unit. If you look at Rio, she is cut. She is no joke. So, I can understand people looking at her like little fairy outfit and saying, oh, Japanese schoolgirl, like Cornette says, the creeper, but the fact of the matter is, she's better than me and I know it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't get it. But anyway, let's move on because we've already talked a little bit about the Don Callis family, but we're going to talk about them a little bit more because, you know what? I want to go back just before we start this because, Jess, on the Discord, you made a observation about John Moxley's celebration that I honestly did not notice. Do you remember what you said?
yes, I do. I was
Go.
actually waiting for an opportune time to bring it up. So, Mox's face is pretty much face now. We've sort of discussed this already. And the question is whether or not that makes the rest of the Death Riders face by default, because the Riders will tend to follow Mox's ideology, and they were all celebrating with him. There didn't seem to be a shred of dissension. But somebody was very conspicuous by their absence, and that someone was Pac. How to
Yeah,
pronounce it
I,
correctly.
I,
Pac.
I did not even notice it. I did not notice it until you posted it on Discord. By the way, our Discord link is right there at the bottom of the screen if you're watching us right now. It's, or you can just look it up at EPW Hub, Everything Pro Wrestling Hub.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't take all the credit for that observation. A few other people saw it too during the live chat.
I'm sure, but I didn't notice it at all. Did you, Chris?
Uh, I only noticed that he wasn't there at all, like for the whole show, because I thought he was part of that Mixed Nuts Mayhem match at first. And I swear that's what I saw on the graphic, but then it got changed. So it's like, well, maybe did they let him go home for Christmas?
Maybe. But look, let's move on to the Don Callis family because we got some stuff going on in the Don Callis family. Kyle Fletcher's pissed off. Takeshita's pissed off. Okada's always pissed off. What do you think is going to happen with the
It,
Don Callis family? Somebody is going to be leaving.
Yeah, this is a meltdown I don't think a sexy picture is gonna fix. Um, I think the obvious choice is Takeshita. People love Takeshita. People have always loved Takeshita. People have wanted to cheer Takeshita again since he turned heel. Um, if anybody is the de facto good guy in this whole drama rama mess, it's him.
I want to interrupt you. Why do you say that? Because if you've been watching Takeshita matches, I agree with you that everybody wants to root for Takeshita, but he has literally given no reason or any indication that he's turning babyface. If you watch his matches, he's heel through and through.
Well, yeah, but he's at odds with Okada, who is the heeliest of heels, bitch. Um, so being at odds with Okada sort of makes him face by default in that dichotomy.
He's a babyface in that particular situation. But what I'm saying is that he has not done anything. Hey, Conrad, what's up? We were talking about Takeshita. He has not given any indication of being a babyface.
I concur. I would agree with that.
Except for in, as Jess just said, the situation with Okada. I think everybody wants him to be a babyface, but he is not giving any indication of being a babyface.
but has he really done any outright heel tactics in his matches? Like
Yes,
I haven't
he
really noticed
absolutely
that,
has.
I haven't noticed him like raking eyes or chokes or He wrestles hard. He beats the shit out of his opponents, but I haven't noticed him really doing anything dirty or cheap during his matches.
Right. What about you, Jess? Have you noticed him doing anything heelish?
Not particularly. It's like what was just said. Like, he's a badass. He's not nice, but he hasn't, like, I haven't seen him try to on his own accord blatantly screwdriver anyone or rake eyes or kick people in the dick or give people the finger like some people.
And
I've heard.
what about you, Show? Oh, he's not here.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
You can call me Kai. I wasn't ready to be called Show. I feel like Big Show than Paul White or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Con?
yeah, whatever. Call me whatever. But I don't know. Like, I think Takeshita has. I think we're all smart wrestling fans in here, so for the most part, I think that we notice the little things. Like, he really hasn't done heel stuff. Like, his offense is really a babyface's offense. The Blue Thunder Bomb, and he has a lot of exciting moves. I haven't noticed him cheating or doing anything like that. I think that's why they added that into the World's End match, like the screwdriver portion of it, like to let you know, like, Okada is bad. Don Callis is bad. These are bad people you should not trust. It's kind of like the mafia when someone gets involved with them, but you're kind of cheering for the good guy involved with them. When you watch those kinds of movies, I feel like that's the position Takeshita's in, and we all just know better. But technically, he is not a babyface yet.
Yeah, I'm right with you, Conrad. Look, I think we can all agree that everybody wants, not everybody, but a lot of people want to root for Takeshita.
Yeah, I mean, you heard it during the match, when they had the strike exchanges. Every time Okada hit, boo. Every time Takeshita hit, yay. Like, people want to root for him, and I don't think he needs to be a full-on baby face, playing to the crowd, getting them behind him. Like, he can just be the badass, straightforward wrestler that he is, and against Don Callis and his goons, obviously people are gonna cheer for Takeshita, he but he could go against a guy like, Adam Page or Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and the people are gonna cheer for them because they are more outright baby faces. Takeshita can be perfect in that badass in between role. He's a heel when you need him to be. He's a face when you need him to be. But he's always going to
Yeah,
be a damn good wrestler.
yeah, like um he's very much associated, especially since he's taken on this alpha persona, with Oni imagery. An Oni is a demon, but you can be a noble demon, but a demon is still a demon.
Right. Look, I want to move on because we're running out of time here, and I do want to talk about the New Year's Smash. Ricochet is going to be facing Jack Perry for the AEW National Championship. And I've heard some discourse about AEW belts pop up even recently. We had a post at the AEW Fan Hub subreddit saying that the international title should be retired. Don't know about that, but I'm interested in hearing what you're going to say. I'm kind of upset that Barry isn't here because when the AEW national title was initiated, he had said that this is a title, and I believe it was what he said, is that this was a title that should be hot potatoed and shouldn't be held by somebody for very long. It should move from person to person. That being said, you guys may disagree with me here, but I really don't see the difference between the AEW national title and the TNT championship. I really don't. I mean, I
Right
know,
now, there isn't much of one.
yeah,
Honestly,
until they start doing what, like they did, they promised that they were going to defend this title in other promotions,
well,
etc., which
Ricochet
they
has
haven't done
defended
yet
the title. Yes,
in
Ricochet
Ring of
has
Honor.
defended the title. He defended it when they were over in the UK. I know that. Like, not on AEW or Ring of Honor TV. Like, I I don't
At
remember.
Was it
It
Rev Pro?
probably was because I think they kind of. I don't think they have a formal relationship with them, but I think kind of through, multiple people work there, and New Japan has a partnership with, or a loose kind of partnership with Rev Pro. I think AEW also kind of has that loose partnership, so it probably was over there.
Do you know, Conrad?
If they have a partnership with them?
No, was it Rev Pro that Ricochet defended the title at?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that was the company. I think he's got another one lined up too, doesn't he? I could be wrong. He might have just
you
been
may be
going back
right.
and forth with people.
Anyway, any of you see Jack Perry beating Ricochet tomorrow night for the national
No,
championship?
no, I
Probably
think
not.
it'll be a
Like,
really, I think it'll be a really good match, really entertaining, and you'll have Gates of Agony with the distraction, and Ricochet gets the classic heel win, which, you know, furthers what he's doing, and it makes it where Jack Perry's like, okay, he didn't get beat straight up, so he could challenge later on and win.
Well, look, I'm going to pose the question of the hour here. With Okada losing the Continental title, the Unified Championship is now basically doesn't exist. I mean, it exists, but it's not listed on the AEW roster page as a title because the title is no longer unified. So right now, there are 9 active titles in AEW. If you had to remove one title because so many people are saying that AEW has too many titles, which I do not agree with. I think that they have the right amount of titles. I just think that there are some titles that they are not pushing by defending them as often as they should. But if you had to remove one of the current titles, which would you remove?
I would
Continental,
take.
sorry, get rid of the Continental, make it where the winner of the Continental Classic gets a title shot at Revolution, and make it like really mean something. And that way you have quite a while to build. You put make it like the G1.
Right,
The winner of the
exactly. Make
G1
it
doesn't
like the
get a belt,
G1.
they get a title shot at the big paper.
Right, and it's a big deal because you do get the title shot.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead, Jess.
have it. Yeah,
I was gonna say, as much potential as they have, they've never really lived up to that potential. So go ahead and axe the trios titles.
What about you, Conrad?
Sorry, I keep muting myself just so I don't so no one hears me breathe or something. I have all the titles pulled up. I see a total of 10 here. It's weird because if you look at each one, you got to have a world. I do love that they have like a women's mid card title. And then it depends on, I guess, your feelings on certain things. And I'm going to kind of agree with Jess with the tag titles. The tag titles were great until you introduced the trios, and then you had to take tag teams to fit into the trios, and then it becomes like a difficult championship. To me, the trios belt should be the land of misfits, like where we don't have stuff for people to do. 3 of you can go together and be over here. So I don't agree with taking away the trios belts per se, but I think you could do some kind of combination here because I love the international title. I just like the look of it, even though it's similar to the women's, but I think that belt's just great looking. I would consider like the national and the continental and the international. Like you got to find a way to, I think, to combine those 3, and I think you would have yourself a solid like number 2 championship. I would put that even over the TNT at this point.
Also, are we counting the Dynamite Diamond Ring as a title? I
No,
mean, it is.
because it's more of a trophy. It's kind of like the Owen Hart.
I was gonna
So
say
I have
it is defended annually, but I guess like MJF didn't even have a say in it this year, which is kind of dumb. The ring is his thing, but I love Bandito, so I'm not gonna complain too much.
I wouldn't be surprised that became like ring versus title as well. But I think that they have the AEW World Title, the Women's World Title, the TBS title, Continental Champion, and the World Tag Champs. Then you have Briscoe with the TNT title, Trios title. Okada still has the International. Ricochet has the National title, and then you have the Babes of Wrath with the tag titles.
Yeah, I have to agree with the trios thing. I've said often in the past that the trios should be combined with the 6-man, because that's what they call it in Ring of Honor. The trios titles, Conrad, I agree with exactly what I think you were alluding to or what you said. They use the trios teams as tag team from the tag team division and add one. It's a trios plus one. There's not really, other than the ops and maybe the elite now, there are no trios teams, specific trios teams. And even I would even say that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are tag team plus one right now. Um, so I would definitely get rid of the trios, and I absolutely agree with Chris. The Continental should not be a belt; it should be a trophy.
And I agree with what you're saying too. Like, I'm not even saying if you didn't want to get rid of the trios, that's fine. But combining them with the Ring of Honor and making some of these championships like, hey, these will cross over. We will be able to do this with these. Like, I think that works.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. It's just I don't believe that AEW has too many titles. I just think that they may have too many titles without really having a plan for them. And there are definitely some titles. Like, when was the last time? I don't remember the last time the international title was defended.
Yeah, I think it's because
don't.
it was in that weird flex of like it's being defended when you defend the unified championship. I think Tony Khan has to make sure. I think AEW is good at writing storylines from, let's just say it's A, B, C, D, right? They're good to get from A to D and it feels worth it. But where they miss things are in the middle of like B and C, where it's like you have to explain what you are doing with these because people were asking, they're like, so those belts don't exist? No, they're still active. But
It's funny you bring that up, Conrad, because that's one of my potpourri points. It really is. So we're going to discuss that right now. We're going to go to potpourri. Potpourri is where we can bring up anything, whether it's an AEW or any other promotion, to talk about. So does anybody have a potpourri?
I do. Just a
Go
little
ahead.
just a little fun observation from World's End. I noticed right away, and it took some other people in the live chat. It took me pointing it out, and then them looking for themselves. Speedball Mike Bailey was wearing Kevin Knight's pants. Um, I pointed that out, and people were like, "No, they're just wearing different pants from different sets." And I'm like, "No, Speedball is wearing pants that say Knight on them and have little jets on them." Turns out later the reason for this is that the poor Speedball, his luggage got lost. He did eventually find it, but it's thank their lucky stars that they have a tag partner who is the same size as they are and happen to have an extra set of pants.
Yeah,
That's why
that
that's
is.
why you always keep a set of basic gear in your carry-on.
There you go. Um, Anybody else have a potpourri before I go to
Ah,
mine?
yes.
Go
Is
ahead,
Orange
Chris.
Cassidy a is Orange Cassidy a home wrecker? I mean,
He
dancing with Tammy,
absolutely is.
jumping into her arms like that. Mina didn't look too happy about it. I don't think she's on board with the whole thruple thing. Like, that's Mina's woman. Not she ain't gonna share her.
Yeah, I do expect in the near future Mina to bitch slap Orange Cassidy.
I said, yeah, Tony can have two wives if she wants to.
No, you can't. You get one wife. You can't
Why
have two
can't she
Well, it's
have
wives.
been.
two
You get
wives?
one. You can't get one wife. That's just the way it is.
Well, she is the whore we adore, Tony Storm. So she's buying into the character, I guess. She's got 3 lovers now, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Three
How,
wives.
how does Juice feel
That's.
about all this? Is what I really want to know.
I'm sure that Juice has enough to handle at home that he doesn't care about it in the wrestling ring. Because Juice did do an interview recently that I saw recently. It was about 3 or 4 months ago, where he said more and more basically that Tony Storm is bringing the character home with her, so to speak. I guess.
My wife and my wife's wife.
He had to paint all the furniture black and white.
Yeah, there you go.
Modify the guest house for
I'm sure they have sofa
Luther.
covers on their sofa and stuff like that now. All right, so I'm going to go with my potpourri, and this has something to do with what Conrad brought up just a little bit ago. Tony Khan said in a recent interview that he does not believe that most of the hardcore AEW fans quite understood the whole Jon Moxley and Death Riders story as it was going on.
I did.
I think it does go to what Conrad. I mean, I understood it when it began, and I understood it when it ended. It wasn't that it's not that I didn't understand it in sections B and C, as Conrad was alluding to. It's just that it just became uninteresting and convoluted to me. And I think that's, if you look at what was said on social media about it, I think a lot of people felt that way. I don't think there's any denying that a lot of hardcore AEW fans felt that way. What do you guys think?
I was with him the whole time.
I like the beginning was great and interesting. The ending was really good, but that middle part, there were just some bits that were a bit muddy, a bit slow, a bit like, oh, this crap is happening again. Like, I mean, there's a
Repetitive,
reason that
right?
I called them the North American branch of House of Torture. Like, it was just the same damn crap every match. And not even just every, Moxley match. I mean, every match any single one of them was in, you knew at least one other death riding bastard son of a he was gonna come in and interfere and just screw up everything. And like that is the overuse of interference pretty much in general is like one of my big pet peeves in wrestling. Like because it's like, okay, we know it's not a fight, but it's supposed to be similar to a fight. And the worst thing you can do in a fight is have your buddy attack your opponent from behind. Like that's a punk
Yeah.
move. So when they had them doing that constantly, it's like, okay, this is just a group of punk ass thugs just who can't win a fight on their own. Like that was my
I
whole
Beyond
big
think
problem.
that, go. Let's hear from Conrad.
I don't know. I think the Death Riders thing, I think people were too hard on it. I was saying that from Jump Street, though. Like, I'm like, you guys are kind of being ridiculous, in my opinion, about it. Like, I was like, why is everyone going so hard about this? Like, it felt like every month Jon Moxley had to lose, and I didn't agree with that. I was like, why? Why does he have to lose? And then when he gets the heat, and then in the end, when we get to All In, I was like, oh, now everybody gets it. So was it just people being impatient and wanting what they wanted now? I don't know. It just depends. It felt like a very weird thing though. Like people didn't want Moxley to be the champ, and I think he used what makes internet fans upset to get his heat because that he knows that's AEW's core audience because that's what we were down to at that point. So
Right.
I thought Moxley played it precisely very well. And then at World's End, I looked at everyone again and I said, even on my podcast, like, wow, I find it funny that everybody was cheering for Jon Moxley now. It's almost like he knows what he's doing, you know? Like I think he made it work for him.
Right. Yeah. Because we even said earlier in the show, Conrad, you know, Jon Moxley was getting these cheers organically. I mean, he didn't do anything baby face-ish, I guess is the best way to put it, to earn those cheers. It's just people wanted to cheer for him. And you can't stop the people from doing what they want. Look, my problem with the Death Riders is that it reminded me so much of the Outcast. You remember the Outcasts? Where you had, who was it? Tony Storm, Soraya. God, who else was in the Outcast? Ruby Soho?
Yeah,
Harley
correct.
was, I think, early on. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
one of
I
the first
mean,
things she did.
you knew that it was going to be at least, at any rate, you knew it was going to be at least 3-on-1 every time an Outcast member was in a match, and yet the baby faces, I guess you could call them, in the AEW's women's division were too stupid to realize this, and they were getting wrecked because it was always 1-on-3. And this was my problem with the Death Riders. It started out so good, and then it just died out to the point where, as Chris said, it was repetitive. It was kind of stupid, to be honest with you, because it was kind of reminded me of the Outcast thing with the constant interference with the opponents not being smart enough to realize that it was coming, even though it had happened 2 times a week for damn near 9 months, right? It started good. At the end of it, when Hangman beat Moxley, I mean, Hangman wins or we riot. That was the whole point. Everybody wanted to see, and I can say that with all confidence, that every single AEW fan wanted to see Moxley lose the title. Now, that is a testament to Jon Moxley, but I disagree with Tony Khan that people didn't understand it. If people didn't understand it, that's on you, Tony Khan, because you didn't tell the story right. People did. If hardcore AEW fans if Tony Khan's mouth, hardcore AEW fans didn't understand the Jon Moxley Death Rider story, that's on you, Tony Khan. You did not tell the story right. I am sorry, but that's the truth. Personally, I liked it when it began because, remember, it was like attempted murders the first couple of weeks. Then it got plain stupid. And then at the end, it wasn't a great story at the end. It was the fact that it was over. Or at least we thought it was. The story ended. That's what it was. That's what people were excited about. Not that the story was great, but that the story was over. That's my personal opinion on it.
And I don't think people necessarily wanted to boo, Moxley, Claudio, Pac. Like, I'll again use the House of Torture comparison. People like these wrestlers, I like Moxley. I like
Well, sure,
Evil. I like Claudio. Like I like Rin Narita and Doki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. I like Pac the same way I like Sonata. What I don't like is them being little bitches and always having to have help. Like, you're great wrestlers. You want to be heels, you want to be dirty, you want to be nasty, rake eyes, choke people, fling them into the barricade, like, be absolute beast and don't give a F about the rules, but don't use your other guys. Use your wrestling, use your know-how, use your viciousness, gouge people in the eyes, choke them, you know, distract the ref and kick him in the balls, but don't use other people. And I think that is where most people had a problem with. Like, it was the constant interference.
You know what parallel I haven't heard made yet? This is something I've thought of a bit in retrospect. That the story of the Death Riders and Hangman Page was a smarter and mercifully shorter version of the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes.
Thank you. I was waiting to say that. Thank you.
I sat through all of that. Like, I stopped watching WWE at all after Cody won the title, because that was really the only thing I was sticking around for. I wanted to see it happen. It finally happened, and I was done. It had gotten more than too much for me way before that. I just wanted to see the stupid story end before I finished. But yeah, if
wanted to finish the story.
Yeah, but yeah, if you guys thought Death Riders were tedious, you would not have survived the entirety of the Bloodline.
Well, Conrad, do you think that one of the things that may have made the Death Riders tedious to some pro wrestling fans, not just hardcore AEW fans, is that the similarities between the Death Riders and the Bloodline?
Yes, I think that I think when AEW was down, that CM Punk cloud did not leave, and I'm sure when is the anniversary of that? We still got a couple more years. Once we hit like 5 to 10 years, you're going to see a lot of videos and a lot of talk about it. That dark cloud followed them, and I think they just got that cloud off of them. I want to say this year, like maybe double or nothing.
Agree.
It took them a long time. So Tony Khan was looking for anything and everyone. And what's one of Tony Khan's number one break in case of emergencies? It's always been and always probably will be as long as he has them. Jon Moxley.
Well,
every time.
I don't think. I mean, would you say, Conrad, that Jon Moxley is the ace of AEW?
Yeah, I would give him that title. Absolutely.
I would as well give him that title.
Yeah, he delivers every time. Whether you like him or not, he always finds a way to deliver. And I think Tony was looking for, we're not cool anymore. What is cool? And everybody went crazy for I call it the Avengers Endgame finish at WrestleMania 40. He was like, well, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it our way, and we're going to do it better than they did it. Because we have twists and turns with our people and characters, with like the Swerve, Will Ospreay helping, him getting taken out, like a lot of stuff. Because when we got to Double or Nothing, I loved that I didn't know who was going to win between Will Ospreay and Hangman. Because in my mind, if you would have asked me probably a few weeks before, I'm like, it's Will Ospreay all the way. You got to give this guy the title. But Hangman's story became so compelling that I was like, you got to do it. And then Tony had an option. Let's go this way. And that's what he decided to do. And it probably played out better, because imagine if Will was the champ, he gets hurt, you fall into that same thing. I just think that he looked to see what was cool, who would be able to execute this and do it right. And it was Moxley. And maybe Moxley rambled sometimes. And once again, it wasn't pretty sometimes getting through B and C, the title defenses and people getting suplexed on things. But Moxley always had you talking. His name was always mentioned on every podcast in the streets, and they found a way to make it work. So,
I think what I found so... Sorry.
Let me just make one point, Jess. I agree with you that Jon Moxley was always mentioned, but it always wasn't positive.
For sure.
Go ahead, Jess.
Now, I joined this podcast in the thick of between B and C, and sometimes I felt like I was taking crazy pills, because I was like the lone Death Rider apologist.
Yeah, you were.
Because what I saw is basically a story of, this is what happens when Batman gets tired of cleaning up everyone's messes. Not Superman. Superman's too goody, too smooth-edged. Mox is Batman. He will get shit done, so it won't be pretty, but he will always get shit done. But what happens when he is sick of cleaning up every single disaster? The Death Riders is what happened.
Yeah, but if you remember during this podcast, I was having trouble even, maintaining attention. When Death Riders came out, I was like, okay, it's a Death Riders match. I'll just wait till the end when everybody does the same thing that they've always done, is just attack and basically run.
I think that was by design, though, because if everybody's feeling it when the Bloodline does it, is that something that we need to do with our own twist on it? It's I'm trying to think of other scenarios where other companies have done it. We've all seen it where, like, someone's trying to be Sting to take out the NWO, and they may not say it's the same thing. When they came up with NWO, WWF came up with DX. All that stuff to me follows a similar pattern. I think that's what AEW is just trying to do. Like, people like it over there, they gotta like it over here. And sometimes that's a mistake to do that, in my opinion, too. But to each their own.
No, I agree with you. That's a very good point. My whole thing is that, and I understand Jess really, really was the apologist for the Death Riders. She was very much into it. Myself, guys like MK, we were like, just end it already, please. This is awful. And I really did. I will 100% say, and it doesn't matter whether being a hardcore AEW fan, whether I understood it or not, it was a simple fact that I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it at all. There wasn't for the first 2 or 3 weeks, like I said, I liked it, and I liked the ending simply because it was the ending. Does anybody else have a potpourri that they want to bring up? All right, then. Well, that'll be the end of the show, then. We'll be back again Tuesday night next week, 8:45 Eastern Time, right here. You can watch us on X. You can join us in the chat. You can watch us on Twitch. And I am happy to announce for the first time next week, it looks like we are going to be live on YouTube as well. Finally, after 2.5, 3 months trying to get us done.
Hip, hip,
So,
hooray.
yes, so we will be live on YouTube as well. So that's, look, before we go, I did want to bring up something. Since Conrad is here, we have combined our two Discord servers very successfully, I may add. It's been so much fun. We are now at https://discord.gg/EPW hub. If you're watching this on X, you can see the Discord link right there at the bottom of your screen. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatnot, we will be putting the link in the podcast description. Please join us there. Also, with AEW Fan Hub in particular, you can follow us on X, Instagram, Threads. Where else are we? Of course, Reddit and YouTube. And where else? Oh, Blue Sky. Blue Sky. We are very close to hitting 100,000 members in the AEW Fan Hub. Well, I should say the Everything Pro Wrestling Hub community. Actually, we're probably over 100,000 members. I'm only counting the social media platforms that I manage. Conrad manages. What do you have, Conrad? You have basically everything we do, right?
Yeah, I have Instagram. You name it, I have it.
Yeah, you know what? I should add your stuff into it. And if people are interested, Conrad, in joining your communities, how do they find you?
Basically, I've combined with you on Discord, so make sure that you guys go to what the link you had said before, discord.gg/EPW hub. Don't forget to put the HTTPS in front of it. But I'm sure if you search it, it'll pop up. You guys can follow me at EPW Show. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. You name it. Blue Sky, all of them. EPW Show is probably the best way to follow me. You guys can come on over and then we'll talk some pro wrestling, man. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, and you do WWE podcasts as well, correct?
I do those as well. I actually have a planned New Japan special. No one knows that yet, but I'm working on something for New Japan this week as well.
We do now.
I try to talk everything as much as I can. So
I will happily talk New Japan. I will be more than happy to talk New Japan if you need someone.
If you will that be on YouTube, Conrad?
Yeah. The plan is it's going to be more so about Tanahashi for this one, but I might run down the card too for the show. If my guy can make it, who I have playing for it, he's busy right now at work.
Well, Chris is a New Japan junkie.
My guy,
and he can speak very semi-intelligently about New Japan. But if you are just going on the YouTube for EPW Show, they are really good in the chat. If you chat with them, they're really good. And I'm so impressed by how you do it too. You give shout outs constantly and interact with your audience so well. And I appreciate, I mean, when I'm there, you always, talk to me and other people. Anybody that has a comment, you pretty much address all of them. I don't know how you do it, but it's really cool.
Yeah, that was the difference I tried to make with my show compared to other people's, is the interactive element for it. I think it's key because a lot of people will send super chats. You don't get your super chat read till the end of people's podcasts where there's a lot of people. And I always tell people one day it may get to that point, but if not, I mean, if you guys throw something in there, I'll talk about it for a second. I can't. I tell people some weeks like, hey, I can't get to every comment, but I do try to at least acknowledge them if it's within the topic while we're talking about it. I try to go in order of the show.
Yeah, I think you do a fantastic job over there. Your podcasts are so well put together.
Thank you, sir.
You guys do great. It's very. I wish I could stay longer, but unfortunately I can't. Those days off that I have from our podcast are kind of premium time for me to spend with my family and friends, and I always have something going on. But every time I'm there I try to stay for a good 15, 20 minutes in your podcast, and they're very, very good. And I am really looking forward to hearing you're going to be doing a Conrad, tomorrow night when you do you're doing a podcast for AEW tomorrow night for the holiday New Year's Smash post show. When do you begin the podcast? Does it begin during the show or does it begin right after the show?
I'm usually right after. So the moment the show ends, I am trying to get to the restroom if I need to, grab a drink, water or something so that I could talk about it. And then I try to breeze through it. I've been trying to make them like under an hour for people if I can. Some weeks the shows are so long, that's not going to happen. If it's a 3-hour show, I usually move it to like Thursday so that way I could cover it in full. So it's just nonstop.
We stopped doing our AEW Fan Hub podcast because you guys just knock it out of the park every week. And I don't mean that as any kind of, I'm not upset about it. I think it's fantastic. You guys do a fantastic job. And I do encourage everybody to go listen to EPW show on YouTube and chat away, because like I said, if you chat, they're more than likely going to address you if they can. So yeah,
appreciate the shout. Thank you so much.
No, not a problem. Thank
you for letting me on tonight. I've been a long time listener, first time guest. So,
well, everybody. That's the thing about this community. We can have up to 10 podcasters on these shows, and we encourage participation. So anybody that's listening, if you want to be a part of this podcast, we are not professionals, obviously, but we just want to have fun. We are hardcore AEW fans talking about AEW. You don't have to be a hardcore AEW fan. If you want to participate in these podcasts, all you have to do is join our Discord, contact Kelson, and say, hey, I want to be a part of the podcast. I'll talk to you on voice chat to make sure that your equipment, I mean, a lot of people just use their phones. That's fine. But we want to make sure that we can understand you. And then other than that, you're in. So join us, because we have a revolving door of people that come into the podcast every week. And that's what this community is about, is community participation. And I think Conrad will agree with that based on what we've done on Discord together, because that is a hopping Discord.
That's for sure, man. I love having fans and fans talking wrestling. I think it's where you get the truest and realest forms of how people feel.
All right, then. So for the AEW Fan Hub podcast team, this is Kelson. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Eddie Kingston.
Sayonara.